Christmas shopping is well underway in Cambridge, is it? Well, I haven't even started. But often you get halfway around the shops and you need to take a load off your feet. But some people in Cambridge say that's hard to do because there's not enough public benches in the city. Well, we sent our reporter Wasim Mirza to find out if there really is a problem.
I'm walking outside Grafton Centre in Cambridge. I'm on a mission to find out how many public benches there are all around the city centre. Do you think there are enough public benches here in Cambridge?
No, I don't think so, no, there isn't. We could do with a few extras. Unfortunately, some of the people who sleep rough seem to take them all. Some people don't want to give them up when they see an elderly person coming along.
No.
Why not?
Well, I can never find one that's vacant. It would help if there's a few more. I think it's during the day, you know, when you're out shopping, you sometimes need to sit down for 5 minutes, especially when you get to my age, and it would be nice to be able to find a bench to sit down on.
Hello.
Are there enough public benches out here, do you think?
No, there's not. There should be a few over there.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this road altogether.
There should be some there, really.
Just between this bin and the double phone kiosks.
Yeah, it's a big space there, isn't there, really? What's we put there? A tree, I was told. Yeah, it would be a tree.
So you'd like even more?
Yeah, for me to sit down now and again.
It's very important particularly if you've got some heart condition or bronchitis or asthma or something like that. It's very hard to find somewhere just to sit down.
Enough public benches here in the city centre?
No, it's bloody hopeless. It's all horrible. I'd rather be at home on my farm.
And you've got plenty of places to sit there, I'm sure, and enjoy the view.
Yeah, plenty of horses to clear up.
One of the places that does annoy me is the Grand Arcade. Not one seat for people watching. It is absolutely horrendous. So what do? You just go to the library and have a seat there. But especially for men, because a woman will want to shop, she'll go into her clothes shop, and the man will have a wee sit outside. But the arcade, you can't do that.
There certainly are people who need them, and I don't see why, because of the people who drink, you should stop other people from having access to a seat. It's rather a draconian attitude to take, I think.
So after spending most of the afternoon wandering through the city streets of Cambridge, I think I need a bit of a rest. But where can I go? Oh, hang on. There's nowhere to sit down.
Oh, there's no way you can't sit in the Grand Arcade. Do you agree, though? Yeah, I guess so. When I go shopping with Jean, I have to say I'm awful, and she knows this. And I say, well, you've probably got an hour in me at best. But I often say I'll stand outside a shop whilst you go in, and I'll get less bored standing outside than you would if I was to follow you around like a little lost puppy. So, you know, if you don't mind me standing outside and people watching, you know, that's great. That works for me. What do you do in those sorts of situations? Maybe there are men out there as well who love going shopping with their other half as well. Enjoy the process. But are there enough places to sit if you just want to park yourself up and let whoever's going shopping go about their business and you just sit there and watch the world go by? Are there enough places, do you think? Well, our reporter Wasim Mirza there out in the city, so he counted 7 benches in the central shopping district of Cambridge. That doesn't sound like a lot, does it? Well, our Radio Car reporter Johnny D is with one man who agrees there is a lack of bench provision in the city. Morning to you, Johnny.
Good morning, Jeremy. I find myself today beside Jesus Green Lock, and the park is just beyond the river here. I can see under a lamppost a lone park bench just over there, all forlorn, nobody at all there. But I've got with me Richard Taylor. He's a local campaigner and a blogger from Cambridge. Now, you've listened intently with your headphones on to what you heard there from Wasim. What do you think of that?
Well, I completely agree. The centre of Cambridge does lack benches, and I think it shows that sort of the centre of the city is designed without the interests of local residents at heart. It's all about the big businesses and the national chains. It's all designed to get us into Starbucks or Costa and paying for an expensive drink, and people really need somewhere free to be able to sit down in the city centre.
What about where you live, Richard?
Oh, I think the same thing as a lot in residential areas. A lot of the benches have already been removed, and we're even seeing them. We're at Jesus Green now on Midsummer Common next door. This summer there was a bench removed, and it was for the reason that he was had in the report there. It's people drinking, sort of abusing alcohol and drugs, and these people they do obviously congregate and sit on the benches, but I just think removing the benches is just a bit of it's just not the right solution. It's something that's easy to do, but it doesn't tackle the underlying problem. The most it does is sort of shift it, usually just a few hundred metres away.
Now, back in 1999, in September, angry Arbour residents hit the headlines, Richard, after removing benches in the bid to rid themselves of drunks who congregated round those benches. How are things now?
Well, I think we've still got the same problems. The only difference is instead of sitting on a bench, then people obviously they're sitting on a nearby wall or something. It just doesn't it doesn't solve the problem. It's just something that's easy for a councillor to do. Like even the worst councillor can probably manage to get a bench removed. But of course it's much more challenging to actually sort of deal with the problems. And I think another thing is that when we're getting rid of these benches because of so-called antisocial behaviour, I think we need to accept that just sort of having young people congregating isn't really a problem. I think we should focus on sort of the real problems people have got with abusing drugs and alcohol and crime. So I think perhaps there's a little bit too much of focusing on just trying to eliminate groups of people and people congregating in the city, which I don't think is really a problem.
Richard, if I can just butt in. Hello there, it's Jeremy back at the studio. We had a story not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, with the chap who runs the crepe store right in the city centre, who said, he had staff threatened by people, drinking and congregating on those benches. I appreciate that we need to look after these people in the long term, but in the short term, his business was suffering, and he said it was because of people congregating on these benches. So in the short term, that sort of removing benches does help him, doesn't it?
Well, it's not the right solution. We need to deal with the people who are causing a problem there. So we need some more policing. We need the people who are causing the issue getting moved on. There's no reason that those people should be spoiling the city centre for everybody else. And I think particularly in terms of where the Grand Arcade, say, we really should. That's an absolute scandal that there's no seating at all in there, particularly as the City Council has so much influence over there. I think it's a landowner and an investor in the shopping centres. So we need to take the city centre back for local residents.
Do we need many more benches, do you think? Is it we're just talking about a handful, or do we need loads more across the city?
Well, in the city centre, there is a dramatic lack, as your report has found, and in the shopping centre. So I think it's something that's missing, and it's something if you go round to other towns, you'll find a lot more of, even if you walk through the parks or through the shopping centres. So
Richard and Jeremy, I'll just butt in there and just say, on the report I did hear, and you said this to me, I didn't believe this. Did you say the Grand Arcade has got no benches at all to sit on?
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure it's got none. They force you into the cafes. So if you want to sit down at the Grand Arcade, you've got to pay for expensive drinks. There's always people standing outside the toilets, or sort of waiting for people to come out, or they're sort of outside the shops, and sort of, you see people sort of just sitting down against the walls.
Yeah, Richard, thank you so much for joining us out in the dark on a cold, blustery Cambridgeshire morning. Thank you, Richard Taylor, who's a local campaigner and blogger from Arbury, alongside our reporter Johnny D. Yeah, it's true.